name is Augustia. I want to presentation about remedial introduction to English linguistics. Part 1. Chomsky distinguishes between competence and performance. Competence is the speaker's knowledge of grammar rules. For example, knowing I am is correct. Performance is the actual use of language, which may include mistake like me am under stress. The distinction is important because it shows the difference between ideal knowledge and real usage. English phonemic inventory. English has about 24 consonant phonemes such as P, B, T, D, K, G, and 20 vowel phonemes such as E in sheep, E in cat, and U in food. Phonemes are distinct sound units that can change the meaning of a word. For example, P versus B in pet and versus bed. Allophones are variations of a phoneme that don't change meaning. For example, P in pin versus P in spin. More example, T in top, R in water. P in pin, P in spin. E versus E, sheep versus sheep. Phonemic contrast. Number 3, I will compare structuralism and generative grammar. Structuralism sees language as a system of science. It focuses on sound, word, and distribution and describes language as social behavior. Generative grammar, on the other hand, sees language as a mental system. It focuses on competence, the internal rules of a grammar, and explains structures with phrase rules and transformations. The key difference is structuralism is descriptive, while generative grammar is explanatory. Therefore, morphology helps create new words in English. The first process is derivation, which adds prefixes or suffixes. It can change the meaning of the word class. For example, happy becomes happiness, modern becomes modernized, and kind becomes unkind. The second process is compounding, which combines two roots into one word. For example, toothbrush, blackboard, and being watch. In short, derivation is word plus affix, and compounding is root plus root. Both processes make English vocabulary richer. Number 5. Syntax in sentence construction. Why syntax matters? Provides rules for combining words into grammatical sentence. Ensures clarity of meaning and avoids ambiguity. Shows hierarchical structure, process, and clauses. Explain how different word orders create different meanings. For example, we have the complex sentence. She said that he is smart. The main clause is she said, and the embedded clause is that he is smart. This shows clausal, embedding an NP plus VP structure. Now, let us see how this looks in the syntactic tree diagram. At the top, we have the sentence as. The subject is noun phrase she. The verb phrase is VP said CP. Inside the CP, we have the clause that he is smart. Here he is the NP and he is smart is the VP with an adjective phrase. Number 6. Semantic and thematic rules. Semantic explain how meaning is made in sentence and help us avoid ambiguity. Rules include agent, the doer, patient or the one affected, experiencer is the one who feels, instrument, the tool, and goal, the target. Example, Mary is the agent, the door is the patient, and a key is the instrument. Number 7. Linguistic relativity Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Linguistic relativity says language influences how we think. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis has two versions. Strong, that language determines thought, and weak that language influences thought. For example, English focuses on tense, past, present, future, while Hopi focuses on aspect ongoing versus completed action. And conclusion, language, thought, and culture are interconnected, but thought is not absolutely constrained by language. Number 8. Pragmatics in communication. Pragmatics explain meaning in context beyond the literal word. Speech acts so language as action, like "can you pass the salt?" means a request. Dexis are context word like "I hear now." Implicature shows implied meaning, like "it's cold here" really means "please close the window." Pragmatics help us understand what speaker really mean. Number 9. Universal grammar or UG. Universal grammar is the idea that humans are born with an innate set of grammatical rules. It explains why children learn language quickly and in similar ways. Support comes from universality, poverty of stimulus, and rapid acquisition. But it is challenges because input is the richer, widely, and general learning may explain it. 10. English has evolved through four main stages. Old English 450 until 1100 with Germanic roots and free word order. Middle English 1100 until 1500, influenced by French with simpler grammar. Early Modern English 1500 until 1700, shaped by the Great Vowel Shift and printing press. And present-day English, a global language with analytic structures, do support and new words. Key changes include phonology is vowel shift, consonant loss, and lexical is borrowings from French, Latin, Greek, and global sources, and syntax is from synthetic to analytic stable word order auxiliary verb. Case study 1, code switching. The sentence "aku tadi telat karena the bus was so slow" is an example of interstitial code switching because it mixes Indonesian and English in one sentence. Socially, this shows modern or urban identity and makes speech more expressive or cool. Linguistically, English words can sometimes be shorter or more precise. In Indonesia, this pattern is common among young people in big cities influenced by media, education, and globalization. Case study 2. Morphological productivity in internet slang. Words like unfriend, adulting, and being watched so how new words are formed. Unfriend is derivation with the prefix "an". Adulting is derivation by adding "ing". Being watched is compounding of two roots. This shows that English morphology is very productive and internet slang makes language more creative and flexible. This shows that English morphology is very productive and internet slang makes language more creative and flexible. Case study 3. Ambiguity in sentence structure. The sentence "visiting relatives can be annoying" has synthetic ambiguity because it can mean two things. First, it may mean relatives who are visiting are annoying. Second, it may mean the act of visiting relative is annoying. The ambiguity comes from morphology, syntax, and semantics because the word visiting can be a noun or an adjective. Example first, in 3a, visiting is a participle meaning relatives who are visiting can be annoying. Here visiting modifies the noun relative, so the subject is relatives. Example second, in 3b, visiting is a gerund. The subject is the activity itself, the act of visiting relative. So, the meaning is that the activity can be annoying, not the relatives. This ambiguity happens at three levels. Morphology. Morphology. Visiting can be a participle or a gerund. Second, syntax. The phrase structure is different in each tree. Number 3, semantic. The meaning change either relative or annoying of the activity is annoying. So this example shows how syntax is very important because the same words can produce different meanings depending on the structure. And study 4. Child language acquisition. The child say I go to the park instead of I went. This is an overgeneralization error in early language learning. The child is applying the regular at past tense rule to an irregular verb. This shows that children are not just memorizing words but actively learning grammar rules. Case study 5. Pronunciation and accent variation. The word weather is pronounced differently in London and New York. In British English, it was water with a clear T and no R. In American English, it is water, R with a flap T like R, and the R is pronounced. These phonological differences show rhotic versus non-rhotic accent. Sociolinguistically, such accents remain because they mark regional identity and social belonging. So this is my presentation. Thank you.